Thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be working on my Color Wednesday blog post for June 29th, 2016. We are going to be using this adorable image by Mo's Digital Pencil called Mara. Isn't she cute? I will put a link down in the description box to the cute little image if you would like to head over and grab one and color along with me. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I'll make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, I printed my image on Neenah 80-pound solar white cardstock. So let's color. So let's start out by giving our image an outlines. For that, we're going to use W00. And I'm going to start over here on the dog. And I'm just going to go all the way around him. And I didn't worry down here at the bottom because there's a bunch of cute little lines there already. And then for her, let's start over here at her shoe. And I like to do my outlining first, so in case I get some on her, I can erase it, and I don't have to worry about touching any other colors, which I would definitely do. And then I tend to pick it up and then wipe my color out here into the background, and I don't want that. Right here, and there's a little patch of ear space right here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we're just going to continue around. She's such a cutie. And we'll get all these cute little swirls up here. And then we're going to go back down the other side. Here. And then we'll go down the back. And I also want to get in between her sleeve and her outfit. And then we want to do the leash. And I'm going to do this little space in between the leash there. And let's go down this way. And then, of course, let's do back up this way. And we'll do down her leg. And to her shoe and those cute little streaks that she already has down here for us. Let's do her skin next. For that, we're going to use E11, E00, E000, E000, and then for her cheek, I'm going to use R11. So I'm going to start down here, right here between her pants and her shoe. She has just a little bit of, there we go, we'll get that to focus up, a little bit of skin showing between her pants and her socks. So I'm going to do my E11 first. And we'll do a little dab on this side. And then I'm just going to fill that little bitty bit in with my E00. Then we'll go up here and we'll do this little hand she's got there. So again, I'm going to start with my E11. Let's do a little bit underneath of her sleeve. And then where she's holding the leash. And then I want to do the bottom of each one of these little fingers, just a little dab. And then again, I'm going to fill her whole hand in with my E00 except for her fingernails. And for those, I'm going to swipe over with my E000. And I think this right here is supposed to be at the end of her thumb kind of poking out. So let me color that with my E00. I think I forgot it last time too. Okay, and then let's go up here, and she's got a little bit of her hand showing right here. So again, I'm going to go with my E11. And then fill it in with your E00. And then for her cute little face, let's start again with our E11. And I'm going to go down her neck. So let's just start here at the bottom of her ear. We'll come down the bottom of her neck. And she's got some hair here, so I'm going to do a little bit of a shadow along the back of her neck. And then I'm going to do the inside of this little ear. And then I want to use this color along her hairline. And then down along her jaw. Like that. And I think I'll do just a little dab here on her cheek. Right where she's got that little half circle or half C there for her mouth. Okay, then I'm going to do E00. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill in her neck. And then let's give her ear a little swirl around on that dark color and then along the bottom. And then we want to bring some of this color up onto her face. I'm going to go ahead and do underneath of her nose and that cute little half circle there that was on her cheek. And then we're just going to brush this right along the edge and pull that down just a little bit. And I'm not worried that it's not blended all the way, because after I do the cheek color, I tend to go over it again. So now I'm going to add E00. Again, we're just brushing over that. And then I'll do E00 to fill it in. Be careful, don't color eyeball. Then we're going to take a little bit of our R11 and add some cheek color. So I use this little half C right here as my guide. And then let's do E00 again. So I'm going to go ahead and do her ear. I'm going to do her neck a second time. And then we're just going to go right over where we went last time. And I didn't worry about that hair that was hanging down on her forehead. I just colored right over the top of it. We're going to color her hair brown and blonde too, so we'll cover that up. And then E00. And then my E00 to again just soften it. I'm thinking maybe I'll add just a little bit more pink. So let me grab my R11 again and let me turn her hair a different direction so I can flick a little bit better from this way. And then I want to go over that with my E00. I'll add a little bit more up here. And I better add a little bit of this up here on the top of her ear. So we've got our E00 to fill in her cute little ear. For her lips, we're going to use R85 and R83. I'm going to do just a little dab of my R85 just in the corners. I'm going to try to be really careful. I don't want to color anything else. Bring that out here a little bit. And then I'm going to take my R83 and just fill in that last little bit here on the side. She's got cute little pouty lips. For her hair, we're going to use E35, 53, 51, and 50. I'm going to start with my E35. And let me see, let's do this little curly Q right here. Comes down on her forehead that I accidentally colored skin tone. So see, that covered that up just perfectly. And then I'm just going to pick some strands to color. So let's do this one. And then let's do this one that comes down to the hair bow, like this. And then how about right here? And I kind of left her hair streaky this time. I didn't really blend it all together. I just added some different stripes of color in here and then left it. So we're going to go like this. And maybe bring this color down a little bit along the edge of this. And then let's color this one dark brown since I colored her face. And let's bring this down. But just randomly pick some different sections that you would like to color darker. And I think I'll bring this one down. And then maybe, how am I coloring that little section that's kind of behind? And then this is tucked behind her ear, so let's do that. And this one. And then grab a few down in here. And just going to work my way around. And let's do, how about this one? And maybe come down this way. And we better get a couple over here. And I think I'll do this stripe right here. Okay, I like that. So I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so now I'm going to add E53. So again, I'm just going to pick some stripes. And I think I'm going to try to go along the edge of each one of these darker colors, just so it'll soften it a little bit. So pick a stripe, and we'll just go right along the edge of that. And soften each one just a tad. And fill in a few of these little spaces down here on those curly cues too. Yeah, maybe this one. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do E51, and same thing, I just want to do right along the edge of that E53. Swirl a little bit in there. And then we're going to go over the whole thing with our E50. So I'm going to fill in some of these white spaces, then also go over her entire hair. That will kind of blend everything together. Down here behind her ear. And then I left it all streaky just like that. So let's work on her hair bow, her shirt, the alternate stripes on her pants, and the dog's collar and leash. For that, we're going to use R89, 85, 83, and 81. I'm going to start up here on her hair bow with R89. And she's got a little patch right here on the side that shows the inside of a hair bow. So I'm going to color that. And then I'm just going to do a little dab of this color along this back edge. And then I'm going to add R85. And then R83. And then I'll give it a little dab of my R81 here in the front. Like that. Then let's hop down here and let's do the dog's collar next. So again, I'm going to start with my R89. So let's do, for the leash, let's do the inside right here. And then for his collar, I'm going to try to avoid those little dots, the little studs on his collar. I'm going to bring this down, that. And then for the leash, let's do a little bit coming up. That. And then I'm going to add R85. Add more to his collar. And again, I tried to avoid those little studs on his collar there. And then for his leash, let's do the back side up here and away from her hand. And then we'll do R83. And a little dab on his collar. And then we'll fill the rest in with R81. Okay, that looks pretty cute. So now let's go do her pants. So again, I'm going to start with my R89, and we want to do alternate stripes. So I'm going to leave this top one a different color, and then we're going to come down here. And I'm going to go away from the inside of her legs. And we're going to skip one. And then this one, let's see, let's do this. And then skip. And then this very bottom one is kind of small, so be careful. And then we're going to add R85. Again, be careful on this bottom one, it's really small. At least mine was when I printed it out. Yours might be a different size. But I tried to make my image big enough to fit on my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. And then we're going to add R83. And then we'll fill it in with R81. And smooth over that edge just a little bit more on each one. Okay, that looks good for her pants. Then we're going to go up here and we're going to do her polka dotted shirt. So again, let's start with R89. And I'm going to do this back sleeve first. So let's see here. And there's a little dot right here, but it's so close that I'm just going to cover it up. We're going to pretend it's not there. Like that. And then let's do her sleeve. So for her sleeve, I'm going to use this little line that's already here. I'm going to follow that around to the bottom. Do the underside of her shirt. And I'm actually going to brush this up just a little bit. And then I'm going to go along this line that's on her shirt. And she's got a couple little wrinkles on the back here. Emphasize those. And then I want to go down along the rabbit. Or rabbit, the dog. Like so. And then her shirt has some lines on it already. So I'm going to go ahead and do those. Emphasize them a little bit and be careful. You don't want to make them too wide. Okay, like the, oh, and she's got a little patch right here between his legs. I think I forgot that the first time. So I'm going to color that, like that. And then we're going to add R85. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in this section right here underneath the cute little dog so I don't forget. Like that, and there's a little dot in the middle, so we'll leave that white. And then we're going to add a little bit over here to the edge of this shirt sleeve. And then we want to soften all these red lines. So let's go right along here. I think I'll bring it out just a little bit. Go around this little dot that I now accidentally colored red pink. It's okay, we'll fix that later. And I want to go along the edge of all this dark red to soften it. And then on her shirt, right here is a little wrinkle. So I'm going to use a little bit of this color on the back side of that wrinkle. And then we're going to add R83. I'm going to go ahead and fill in this little sleeve over here. There's not much left. And then again, we just want to fill in some more color. So we're just going to brush right along here. And then let's bring this out and along here. And we're going to do this little wrinkle right here. Add a little bit of color in there. And then we're going to fill it in the rest of the way with our R81. Okay, now I'm going to soften some of these edges over here on her shirt. I'm going to brush along some of these darker sections. Like that. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender, since I colored a couple of these with some red, I'm just going to daub it in there. Each one of these little circles that I colored on accident, and smush that color right back out. So most of them I didn't get them with the R89 luckily, because that's that would never come off. It's just too dark. Next, let's do her undershirt, the alternate stripes on her pants, her socks, and the soles of her shoe. For that, we're going to use C3, C1, C0, and our colorless blender. And let's go ahead and start on her sleeve here with our C3. And for that, I'm going to go right along these wrinkles first. Just a little bit. And then I want to brush right along. Let me turn her a little bit more. I'm going to brush right along the bottom of her shirt. I don't want to put too much on. It's kind of dark, but just a little bit. And then I'm going to add C1. So let's do right over the top of these little wrinkles again. Just give those a little brush. And then we want to brush up and away from our C3. And then we're going to add C0. So again, brush up and away from your C1. And each one of these little wrinkles up here, give them a little swipe. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender and I'm going to go over those edges of that last color. Just soften it a little bit. And be careful not to touch the red of her shirt. That. And then we'll go over here and we'll do this other sleeve. So again, I'm going to start with C3. I'm going to go underneath of her sleeve and down her body. And then along the inside. And here's a little wrinkle. I'm going to make that a little bit pronounced. And over here, this is underside of a wrinkle. And then a couple of these here that go over that way. Oh, in this little section, there's a little dab right here. Okay, then we want to soften that again with our C1. So we're just going to brush away from our C3 just a little bit. Go over that wrinkle, a little tiny dab. Each one of these little spots that come away. And then we'll add C0. And then we'll soften those edges with our colorless blender. So be careful not to touch that red again. That will smear out there and make a big old mess. Now let's go down here and do the alternate stripes on her pants. So again, let's do C3. And we're going to go away from the middle like we did with the red. And I'm going to bring this color up a little bit into some of these little spots on her skirt that kind of dip in. Okay. And then we'll add C1. And then our C0. And then again the edges with our colorless blender. And I'm not going to worry about this top little section. Then we'll do our socks. So again, start with your C3, and I'm going to just add a little bit to each of these lines that are on her sock. A little dab there along the shoe. And then we're going to add C1. And again, we're just trying to soften the edges of the C3. And then I'm going to skip C0 and go over them lightly with my colorless blender. That will leave us with the sole of her shoe. So again, let's do C3. And then C1. And then C0. Oops. Gotta grab the right one. And then again with our colorless blender just to soften the edge. And right here, since I colored all the way in, I'm going to just give it a little highlight here in the middle there. Let's do her skirt and her shoes next. For that, we're going to use our 100 pin or the 101 pin, whichever one you have or whichever one you prefer. And then I'm going to use YG99, YG67, G24, and G12. I'm going to start with my 100 pin, and on her shoe, I'm going to do this little space in between the laces and her shoe. And I did a very small line. And then the back of her shoe. And then I want to do the little lines that are already on here for me. And then I'm going to bring my pin around over here to the edge of her shoe. And then for this shoe, again, I'm going to go down the back. And then I want to bring this one around her sole a little bit. And then let's do some of these lines. That. And then we're going to go over that with YG99. So touch down on top of your 100. And bring it out a little bit more. I'll bring this out even with this little stripe that's going down the back of her shoe here. And then this side. And I didn't worry about that little patch that's on the back of her shoe either. I just colored right over the top of that. Next we're going to add YG67. Whoops, I should have maybe done, let me see, is that a shoestring? We're going to make these smaller spaces in between the shoestrings. And I'm going to go ahead and go over the YG99 and the 100 with this. So this is a pretty bright green, so we want to add a little bit of that brightness to these other two colors. And then we're going to add G24. And then we'll fill it in with our G12. And let's go up here and do her skirt. So again, we're going to start with our 100 pin. And first I'm going to go wherever it's showing the underside of her skirt. And I'm going to color those little bitty spaces in. And right here's one. Did I miss some? Here's one. Okay, now I want to add some darkness to my skirt. So let's see here. We want to go right next to the bottom of her shirt. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm trying to make a very small line along there. And then I want to pick some stripes to make a little bit darker. So let's do this one right here. So we're going to bring it down. And then we'll skip one. And how about this one? Well, it looks like this one kind of pulls up on top of it. And this one looks like it kind of dips. Do that. Wherever it looks like it kind of goes up, you want to do the underside. And we're just going to work our way across. And let's see, this one right by his little rabbit, or his little puppy foot. And right here. And maybe this one, like that. So we got a little bit of dark in there. Then we're going to go over that with our YG99. So we're just going to go right along edge, and I'm going to make those stripes just a little bit wider, while also going over the top of my 100. Then we're going to add YG67. Do this little section here that goes underneath. Oh, and there's one right here that I missed that goes is an underside. So let me grab my 100 real quick. We'll color that in. I missed it. Then let's add G24. I'm going to color in this back section over here. And then we're going to fill in the rest with our G12. For the dogs, we're going to use E18, 15, 13, 11, and then for the white parts, we're going to use C1, 0, and our colorless blender. So let's go ahead and do the white parts first. So let's start down on this cute little guy right here. So I'm going to start with my C1, and I'm just going to give him a little brush right here above his nose. And then for his snout, I'm going to go down here and give just a little brush on the edge, like that. And then for this little guy up here, let's do a little dab right along this right hand side. And then for his eye, let's make that a little bit of gray too. Give him just a little brush. And then we're going to add C0. So I'm going to go soften this edge of this one. And then for this little guy, just soften the edge of that C1. And then we're going to take our colorless blender and just go over the edges. Same for this guy up here. We'll just go over the edge of that C0 and soften it just a little bit. Okay, then let's do the brown. So I'm going to start with E18. Let's start down here on this cutie. So for this cutie, let's do E18 right along his ear. And then a little thin line along his white section. And down here. And then for this side, let's do his ear. And we'll go down the side of his face to his collar. And I'm going to bring this around. He's got a little bit of his face showing down here underneath of his mouth. And then we're going to do his leg. His little toes there. And then for this leg, let's give him a couple little wrinkles in there. And we'll come up here. And there's already some great shadows in here, so I'm just kind of going along some of those lines and using those as my guide. And his toes. And he's got a little bit of his foot showing over there. Okay, then we're going to add E15. So we want to soften the edge of that E18. And I'm going to bring this up from his foot a little bit. Work our way around, a little bit underneath of his collar. And we want to add E13. I'm going to fill in underneath where his mouth is. And then we're going to fill in with E11. And I like to swirl this around on the other 3 colors just to add a little bit of this color in there, and it'll soften some of those lines again. And I got a little bit on his face right here, so I'm going to take my colorless blender and just push that back away from his snout so he doesn't have a big brown patch in there. Okay, and let's go up here and do this cutie. So again, let's start with our E18. And let's start over here on this ear. A little dab of color in there. Maybe a little dab here on his ear. Come around over here. And then for his face, let's go down around this way. And again, he's got a little bit of his chin showing in here, so let's do a little dab in there. And then for his arm, give him a couple little wrinkles in here. And then we'll do this arm. And for his body, we'll go underneath the first sleeve. And then I want to bring this down a little bit. And we'll continue bringing this around. And for this side, let's do a little bit. And then where these lines on this bottom leg start, we'll bring that in a little bit. Okay, then we're going to add E15. So we're just going to brush right on top of our E18, and we're going to make the line a little bit wider. I'm going to fill in here underneath of his chin. Let's see, bring this down. And then we will add E13. I'll be a little bit careful over there around this one's eye so I don't color it on accident. Be a little crazy with my coloring. We'll just fill in some of this and leave some highlights for our E11. And now we're going to fill the rest in with E11. And I got a little crazy over here by his legs, so I'm going to grab my colorless blender. See if we can push that in just a little bit. There we go. And then I took my other colors, so I took my E15 and I gave him a few little dots. So let's go. I try to keep the dots down close to the darker colors. Where I want it to be the darkest. And then I did the same thing with E13. And I didn't care if I dotted on top of the other dots that I already laid down. Then I took my colorless blender, whoops, not that, colorless blender, let's get the right one, Heather, and then I used that to just dot around on top of all the brown. And I think I'll add a little bit of my E11 for dots. And then I'm going to go a second time with my colorless blender. So there is our beautiful Mara all colored up. Isn't she cute? I'm going to add some Spica glitter pen to her hair to give it some sparkles. And again, this was from my Color Wednesday blog post of June 29th, 2016. And if you would like to see what I did with this image and the finished card, you can head over to the store blog and check out the blog post for July 2nd, 2016. If you have a question, make sure to leave me a comment and I will get back to you. Otherwise, I hope you had fun coloring with me today, and we will see you next time. Bye.